Glad to have you join us now. Nigeria's equities market increased by 0.48% in the trading week, which ended Friday, March 10. Now, the all-share index and market capitalization, which opened the week at 55,529.21 points and 30.25 trillion, respectively, increased to 55,794.51 point and 30.39 trillion naira. Well, the market recorded 3 days of positive closes, 1 day of negative and flat as well, while year to date now at 8.87%. So, and if you look at the total turnover of last year, the mood of the market shows that about 1.02 billion units of shares, which worth about 20.2 billion naira in about 18,650 deals, were traded last week by investors on the floor of the exchange, in contrast to the previous value. So let's get talking now. If you look at the financial services industry, which led activity with about 414.27 million units of shares, contributing about 40.50 as well, and other categories as well. So let's get talking now. So what's our thoughts this week ahead of the Goba poll? Ambrose Amodion, Chief Research Officer, Investigative Consulting, joins us now. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, I know you were here last week, and we look at the mood of the market, and you know, the fact that the market is beginning to experience a bit of mix, you know, and so we were trying to also look at the factors, you know, responsible for that mix as well. Would you like to start from that note?
Yeah, actually, like I said last week, we expect to see the mixed trend. Even this morning, we're seeing market already starting in green, heading to the 56,000 mark already. But this trend of mixed trend will continue in this week. Why I say so is that, you know, we expect to see what we call post dividend adjustment coming in, because as from today, we expect to see markdowns in some stocks, and next week also some stocks. So at the same time, we expect to see all these companies also that notify exchange of their board meeting to start announcing their full year. And these are companies that release the result in the month of January. While the one we're analyzing is what we call the early filers that came the month of February and this early March. For me, the market, this mixed trend will continue, because as results come to the market, they're bound to be what? Reaction. And don't forget also, this week we expect to see another treasury bill option coming out this week. At the same time, we expect to see inflation figure for the month of February. All this mixed trend is going to drive the market. And don't forget what also happened again last year about the the Silver Valley Bank in US. Also have a changing cycle of investors, especially in the financial sector. What is going to happen? What is the strength of the company? The banks will have here. Have they done stress tests? Are they fit? These are things that we for. I believe that this will drive the market up and down till Friday. But I believe after the electionary season is come and gone totally by Saturday, the market will now beat out to see, okay, for traders like me, we want to see, let's see the markdown prices to come down, we'll start buying. Why investors, they're also looking at this opportunity for me to make dividend income, let me take my position and wait. But for we investors, traders who have entered already, we want to take profit. Why investors are buying for dividend? These are the things that will drive the market. But for me, there's no cause for alarm, because the major thing is that what is the momentum behind this trend? It's still very, very strong. So at yesterday, as at Friday, momentum are above almost 80, tells that the market is still very, very strong. Until there is another contrary information. Like I said this morning, the life of Boa Food has started gaining already, pushing the market from almost 55,920. That means the market touched about 56,000. This is a good one for me. Yeah.
Even though you talk about the fact that we are having earnings in the market and all of that, so a lot of people also may want to know the factor, the real thing behind the mix, because we expect that the earnings, of course, will be able to balance things up. On the other hand, but that factor responsible for the mix,
like I said, is the sentiment. It's reaction to these numbers.
Okay.
When you release a company releases a number that we have done well, market will respond to it, and price will go up. And profit takers that have entered earlier will start taking profit. You can see it. For the life of I can see the top losers for this week. These are companies that when they release the result in January, for almost 2 weeks, 3 weeks, this stock were rallying from as low as 13 naira to almost 35, 30. You can see now people are taking profit, is coming down. As it's coming down, investors are looking at, they've not released their audited account to announce dividend. once it comes to a level that they start jumping again for what? For dividend income. These are the things that drive market. It's not really that there's negative information, but if a company, for example, release a number that is beyond, above expectation, market reacts. If it's also below expectation, market will also treat you the way. That is why you see all this trend. And like we just said, as elections around the corner, people also factor in. But for me, the major election that really drive market is the presidential election. Yes, we need the state to vote. I will tell you, once we are done with the electoral season, then we might finally. Then we're looking forward to see what is the incoming government bringing on board. Okay, the one that is going, what are they trying to round up before the final handover? These are things investors look at. We all believe that the incoming government has a lot to do to address the economy, to address unemployment, to address foreign exchange, to address even also the manufacturing sector. Last week I told you that the purchasing manager index for the month of February has gone below 50. It tells that we're already in contraction, and also that will likely to reflect on the Q1 GDP at the end of the day. These are the things that the incoming government should be looking at. How can we address this issue? I think by now, I think they should not time to celebrate. The time to prepare to work, because no matter what happens after the redress in court or tribunal, somebody will be there as president, and that president has to start working now before they
I want us to also look at the fact that pre-presidential election, the market was strong, the momentum was also very strong as well. But after post-presidential election, so we're seeing a mix, but a mixed market. The election is another election is coming. That's gubernatorial. Yeah. So like some people say, oh look, the gubernatorial is not as as so strong or key drivers when it comes to presidential, because presidential is where most investors look at, because that's where the decision comes from with regards to fiscal planning and policy. But again, some people say the government poll is also very, very important at the state level.
We are not cancelling, and I say that, but for you investors who are looking at the presidential election has come and gone, we also need the state. If the state is peaceful, it's also you can invest in that state. That's why they are also very important for every investor to look at who is the president, who are coming. And now we already have president-elect, or different others are going to court. I tell you now, we have that one that Nigeria, we are not running into crisis of whether entering government or not for now, from what we are seeing. That means tell you that we are already preparing for handover by May 29. Now, but the government election is for us, each state, to know who govern them, who will be the CEO of those states. It's good, but like I just said, if there is peace in a state, companies like there will do well, which also impact the companies that are listed on the state.
So let's quickly look at the key states, where people are looking at. I mean, I know that Lagos State has investments.
That is the key state in terms of economic activity.
Exactly. So Lagos, for instance, is a major hub of economy.
Business,
for instance, there have been quite a lot of debate. Each of these candidates talking tough on how they are going. I mean, given the way presidential election went or ended, I mean, where one party, of course, Labour Party won that presidential election, so it's expected that
won in Lagos State.
Yes, won in Lagos
State.
Yes, so one expect that it will be a very tough one this coming Saturday, and so investors may want to wait because it's a hub and it's going to be keenly contested. So, do you think that will have any significant impact on how the market reacts or the investors react to the activities this week in the market?
There should be some feelings, but I believe that the market on its own has seen the history of like you said, voting pattern in Lagos and all those stuff, and the state and the parties that have been in charge all this while. Yes, when it comes to presidential election, it's a different ball game. But when it comes to presidential government election, it's also a different ball game. Continuity is what people will be looking at the end of the day. Yes, some people think that we need a new blood to inject a new blood. Let's take new ideas. It depends on the people that are going out to the pool. But I believe that we businessmen or investors are looking at, for the people that have been in place for so years, how have they fared? We have seen that Lagos, I'll tell you, if you look around in Nigeria states today, it's the most secure state, and which government have put it to this level. Yes, other reasons, people, I'm not campaigning for anybody. I believe that these are what people are looking at, that continuity might come on board. And if peradventure there's the
new party comes into power, or takes over
but who believe that continuity is what fine is new, but I believe when somebody that in the business that be driving you. I think when you get a new driver, you need to also sit up well to know. But when the driver that you are used to is driving you, yes, they're bound to be changed, but people are confused that my driver have drove me for 4 years.
I think security is really key.
And that is
security is really key.
That
really.
is business.
Security is really key. We hope that, of course, it goes peacefully, just as was recorded in the presidential election.
No, it will
this weekend.
No, it will go well.
Okay, so let's look at quick one as we go. Try to wrap up. Let's look at some key companies last week and maybe the mood of investors towards those companies. For instance, on the top gainers, you have, of course, Julius Berger, as at last week, gaining, almost, gain about 10%, really. If you look at Julius Berger, you also look at Trans Nationwide Express PLC, also gain as well. USC is in the top among the top 5 gainers for the week as well. So if you look at also Transcorp or Transnational Corporation PS also among the top 5 gainers, for the week. So one want to look at how the trend will go this week. So what's your take?
Actually, I'll tell you that Julius Berger is still grossly on their value, looking at where they are coming from and the sector where they are playing. And being, for me, is the leader in that industry in terms of construction in Nigeria. That's why we're seeing a China company coming in and some local companies coming up on board. But I'll tell you that most federal government contract and most states are in this company. And I believe that since they are also diversified into agriculture, into other things, oil, I believe that this going to the future will impact. And I tell you that every investment is against the future. And if you are expecting that on the strength of their earnings so far, they will be unaudited for 2022, we're seeing that capacity to them paying between 2 naira 50 kobo and 3 naira is there on the strength of their number. Right. If they go ahead and pay that will change the price. I can see that people already taking advantage of the low price at 24, that move it to almost at 26, because they see that, yes, even though they are paying 3 naira, there's still more than 2-digit dividend yield. Even though they are paying also 2 naira 50 kobo, they're almost at 10% yield. These are the things investors are looking at. And you know that I told you this is what dividend income investors is in. They want to take advantage of companies that have capacity to pay, and not only that, that will continue on a growing their earning power at the end of it, which I believe that Julius Berger has that strength to grow their earnings. For transnational wide, for me, it's just a market sentiment. Yes, Korea business, because if you want to drive any digital economy, you need to go along, because transportation is very good. Because if we're shopping from our home and you need a delivery, it's Korea that brings it down home. That means
I think Korea business is trying to take a new dimension these days, where you have to look at logistics as well. Exactly. And so the Korea business of those days has changed.
Yeah, and it's good, because that is why I tell you that the post COVID-19 era has really changed things, and also what is happening globally. But one thing I see that there's something globally that people are yet to know is that all this world we're having here and there, there are some people or some companies that benefit from this world, and they are making the board, forgetting that at the expense of economy, knowing that most economy are struggling. If big economies are giving into equipping their military, making sure that they are balanced in terms of war, let them put that effort, that energy in putting the economy right. I will tell you, peace will come and reign. It is not having a hardware. I believe that these are the things that investors should look at what is happening. Like I told you earlier about the SVB that happened. Also investors look at what is the strength of our bank. And I remember in this program when they said SEC approve startup for tech companies. Right. I said it here and that you have to be mindful of what tech companies, because they are so how will I put it, innovative. Drive that sector. That means changes to come, and if the change is coming, you need funds to do that. That means they spend more on research and development, and that means you need to borrow to expand and understand. If that is the case, that is why really SEC has to sit up in regulating that sector, because go and check all the .coms in the past, how they come up overnight. The next night you see them going there. What has happened just last week is just an example of it, because this where all the tech companies bank, and we see what happened. Immediately they had the news, and things don't change overnight. For me, I think investors should also look at companies, cash flow for you to take decision. Not only looking at the earnings of the company or what they are paying you, look at sustainability of that earnings. Do they have a cash flow enough to support their earnings? Once you grab it, I think you are in the right direction.
And more especially if you look into the future, using the current numbers to predict what is
that's why I say you must look at when people analyze, look at only the balance sheet and the profit and loss account. No, you want to go back and see what the cash flow of this company is. It coming, or are they investing to expand their cash flow? You can see what MTN is doing. MTN is directly expanding because of what they want to boost their cash flow, and that's also reflected in their last year result. What they pay in 2021 was not prepared to do. That means a company that's expanding is going to reflect on their earnings, and so you need to come that is expanding its cash flow to know operating cash flow so that yes, it's supporting what the company's earnings or growth. That is how to go, because if not, I can pay you 2 naira today, the next day I'm paying you 10 kobo because you didn't know that the demand sustain this 2 naira you paid me. If you have known when you paid, you know how to also move. That's why investors should be very smart this time.
I think let's look at the top 5 decliners for the week, and possibly if that trend or they are likely to change, or that trend is likely to change. You have MRS, you know, losing almost 19% last week as well. Corn oil is also in that. I mean, they all in one you know, sector there. So FT and cocoa processor is in that category as well. Those who lost FT and cocoa, for instance, you know, lost about almost 14%, you know, all through last week. You have at the end of the day, you also have NCR Nigeria PLC, Multiverse Mining, you know, companies also in that category as well. So speak to this.
I'll start from the Multiverse. Multiverse for me is just profit taking. This is a stock that moved from as low as almost 70 kobo last year and run to almost 4 naira. No, for me, it's just coming down. No market. Also for NCR, it's just market forces. It come and go, and investors always play with caution and that kind of stuff. Also, the same thing is profit taking in FT and cocoa. But for corn oil and oil, it's just purely profit taking. And I believe that, you know, it will still further adjust down before we can say the bound, because investors want it to come down and people are taking profit. If I enter a stock at you know, 15 naira, 20 naira, see that 40 naira, 40 naira, you are about to set to take profit, and until it comes to the level again where the market will call it a technical analysis, a support level, where people that this is the bright price, people are pricing it, then and as a lot of expectation of their dividend, program are still going back again to the stock. But for me, there's no cause for alarm. And also don't forget that there's bright prospect forward for oil sector in Nigeria, especially with the expected removal of subsidy, you know, in the new government. It will be a boost for this sector.
Now let's talk about the general momentum for the week. I mean, for today and of course for the week as well as we wrap up now. So what should we be expecting? I mean, what's going to be the general mood of the market for the week? Yes, I know you talked about the fact that it's going to be a mixed market.
Yeah, I wanted to say that earlier. I've said that we expect to see a mixed market. Like this morning, I mentioned that we have seen the market gain almost around 0.28, you know, hitting about 55,920 this morning. That means that 56,000 we're looking at, market might likely touch it before the board. This up and down movement will continue, because the beauty again is that in any market, volatility is what drives what opportunity for you to buy low and sell high.
Right.
If you use your technical analysis. So that's why I encourage Nigerian investors to marry their fundamental and their technical analysis, so they're able to play the market with knowledge. So at the end of the day, they can boost their confidence in investing or trading, and also impact their bottom line positively.
I think we should leave it there. Thank you so much, Ambrose Amodian, Chief Research Officer, Invested Consulting Limited. I appreciate your comment.
Thanks for having me.
You've been watching Business Breakfast. We'll take a break now, and after the break, we'll look at the economy on the coming election. So what are the expectations as with regards to the burning economic issues? That's our focus next when we return from this break. Please stay with us.